I'm Nick Turner with Twirlybird, and I'm here to show you our display tank. As far as water goes, we recommend on the middle of the Twirlybird display here, there's green dots. Put your water at that level. A little below that is going to be perfectly fine. A little above it is going to be a little too much. You're going to get a little water spilling out from the Twirlybirds inside here. So just make sure you stay at or below that line. Another little tip we've included, you're going to get a small little piece of pipe. This will be painted gray for you, and it's going to go on the back behind the manifold in between the check valve and the tank. It's just going to provide stability for the manifold so that it doesn't shake with all the power we're putting out of here. We have the first piece, which is our suction. It's 2.5-inch plumbing. It's assembled in one piece. It's simply, if you look at the pump, we have our suction inlet. This simply slides over the tank. Is going to come down right to the union. All you have to do is simply tighten this together. Now we have the first part of our return line. We're simply going to attach this to the pump. Now we have our main two manifolds. You'll notice that they're in different colors. There's green and black. Green is our 1-inch Venturi tees. Black is our 1.5-inch Venturi tees. Now these air lines will come unattached, but they simply mount right on top of the air intake on the Venturi tees. And we're simply going to place this over the tank. All right, our tank's assembled. We're ready to power up. We're using a 220 volt pump, but we only have 110 power, which is a regular outlet. So we have a converter down here in front of me. Now this draws a lot of power. All you have to do is simply plug it in and flip your switch. And now you have power. One thing you should be aware of is we're drawing more power than 110 realistically. So there is a chance that you will pop a breaker if you're running all 4 jets, especially for a long period of time. Check with your trade show rep. Let them know that you're going to be using a converter and drawing this much power. So we have power on. We're going to come down to the controls here. We're going to use the up and down arrows. We're going to find the set speed setting. It's currently set for 1100 RPMs. We're going to hit select. Then we can use the arrows again, and we're going to move up and take it to 2000 RPM. Once I hit enter, that RPM is set, and now to turn the pump on, we simply hit the start button. Now we've already put water in the pump basket so that the pump can prime. If we hadn't done that, this thing would turn off. So make sure that you have put water in the pump basket so that it will prime properly. All right, our pump is running. We're at 2000 RPMs. Now we have a couple more things to go over, but you can probably hear that the Venturi effect is drawing a lot of air, and it's kind of loud, and it can be hard to talk over, especially when you have a customer standing with you at the tank. One of the tricks I've learned is one time I found a piece of paper that was close by, which happened to be our Twirlybird brochure, and if you simply put this and cover up the air, it's going to take that sound away. Now you can hear, it's much quieter. You can talk with the consumer, you can answer questions, and when they want to put their hand back in and feel the Twirlybird, simply grab the paper off and you're back running at full throttle. We're going to cover this and leave it on as we explain how this test tank works. Now we're currently set at 2000 RPMs as we went over, which means we're running at about 40 gallons per minute. There's a FlowViz flow meter attached to the plumbing, which is on the back. So we adjust our electrical down at the pump, and then we verify how many gallons per minute we're using with the flow meter. So we know we're at 40. Let's say we want to go down and lower our RPM so that we can show a customer how Twirlybird works at a lower gallons per minute. Now we're simply going to go back down to the pump. Notice we haven't turned the pump off. We can do this while the pump is still running. We're still at set RPM. We're simply going to hit select again. and use the arrows to move back over, and let's just go down to 1000 RPM. Once we hit enter, the pump has now gone down to 1000 RPMs. Now we can check the flow meter, and if we look at it, we can see there's about 15 gallons per minute, which if we divide it by 2 means we're running at about 7.5 gallons per minute. Running at 2000 RPMs, we've got it quiet with our tip of the paper over the air. We have a consumer here, they have their hands inside, they're feeling these 2 twirlybird jets. Now to simply switch to the other 2 twirlybird jets, there's a 3-way valve in the back of the manifold right here. Simply turn it, I'm going to hold this so it doesn't fall. Now you can hear there's air suction. We've switched over to the other 2 jets of twirlybird. So we're running, we're in full effect. Let's say you want to change a faceplate out. Let me grab a tool here. Now you can reach over, but this is a little high, it's a little cumbersome. So what you can do is simply reach in. If you grab the housing, you can twist it, pull it out. This is good because it'll also let you show the consumer how the tool actually works. Make sure you fit both tabs in, and now you can change faceplates. Once you put your new one in, lock it in place, and you simply push this back into the Venturi jet, and you're back up and running. Part of the main point of this display tank is so that consumers can see how twirlybird works at 10 to 15 gallons per minute, and also how it works at 20 gallons per minute, which is what we recommend to power twirlybird for true hydrotherapy. As you've experimented with this tank, you've seen that on our 1.5-inch Venturi, our deep tissue works flawlessly. It draws air every time, but you might have noticed that the other soft stream isn't drawing air. This is due to the reason expressed in our other video. But for this reason, we've also included the NT special housing, which will solve that problem. It will let you power all 4 twirlybirds at one time, have proper water and airflow, so that you can show the consumer how they feel. Lastly, I'd like to go over one more thing with you, and we'll end on this note. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the air off, and I'm going to switch back to the 1-inch Venturis, and I'm going to go down to 1000 RPMs on the pump here. Now I have that programmed. You can hear it's not drawing that much air. We're running at about 13, 14 GPM, which means our twirlybirds are each running at 7 gallons per minute. If we look inside the tank here, we can clearly see that even at 7 gallons per minute, our shiatsu and our pulsator jets are both drawing air, they're both spinning, and they're working fine, but they're not necessarily that strong. This is due to the fact that there's insufficient gallons per minute. So if a builder ever comes to you and says, that twirlybird, it just doesn't work, it's simply not true. They have 2 problems. They either have the 1.5-inch Venturis, which we've addressed earlier, or they have insufficient gallons per minute. But we're clearly proving here that twirlybird works even at 7 gallons per minute.